The island of Ireland, our ancient home, has a long and storied history of seafaring and fishing. Going back right through the centuries, back to the days when fishermen went out in tiny currachs and braved the elements, going back to the days of St. Brendan the Navigator and Grania Whale. Indeed, it could be said that from the 13th to the 16th centuries at least, we were lords and masters of the seas around our country. Ireland has the largest territorial water in the European Union at 220 million acres, and these are some of the richest and most productive fishing grounds in Europe. You can look around here at this an almost empty port now of Rossaville, when in reality it should be a busy port and a hive of activity. In the hands of the officials of the Department of Marine, we have witnessed the extinction of fishing traditions around our coastline, and we have seen the utter destruction and annihilation of the Irish whitefish sector boats. Not one government in the past 30 years can claim that they were beneficial to Ireland's fishing and seafood industries. Our elected representatives are submissive errand boys for the European Union who have turned their backs on Irish fishermen. So what is the future going to hold for many young men and women when they grow up? Is there going to be a fishing and seafood industry left, or will our gutless government give it away totally to the so-called European partners who fish in Irish waters? Every fish caught in our waters by a non-Irish vessel is money taken out of the pockets of local fishermen and local communities. It's been documented that in just one port in the southwest coast, that 50 Arctic trucks a week for over a decade has been loaded with fish landed in this Irish port by foreign fishing vessels and have been transported out of the country without creating one single Irish job. It's a death by 1,000 cuts that will finish off many of the small, independent, family-run fishing vessels around our coastlines. Not only do Irish fishermen have to compete with factory ships and technological advances, the Irish Navy appears to be either unwilling or unable to defend Irish waters from plunder. Ireland's coastal communities are pleading for our government to stand up to the EU and defend our rightful share of the fish quota in our own waters. And a time when our minister's response is to start a voluntary vessel decommissioning scheme to shrink the size of our fleet to match the tiny quotas that we've been left with. Unbelievably, on top of this voluntary scheme, it's actually a gun to a man's head scheme, take it or go bankrupt scheme. The Irish fishermen are also facing the introduction of further excessively tyrannical and oppressive measures in the form of penalty points, which will be the most severe in the European Union. It is an embarrassment to the Irish people to see how other nations have so strongly defended their fishing industry, while the Irish government cares so little for theirs. The fishermen have been treated like second-class citizens when it comes to fishing their own waters, and they've been made to look like criminals by the unjust laws and regulations levelled on them. They are struggling to survive and face a resistance and opposition to fulfilling their most basic ambitions, which is to earn a living at a job they love. There are many members of the National Party who are fishermen from Ireland's coastal communities. The National Party believes that Ireland's natural resources belong solely to the Irish people.
Food security, sufficiency of food products for the general population of Ireland, and export earnings for the Irish agri-food sector. Ireland exiting of the EU common fisheries policy and abolishing fishing quotas that would allow the country to harvest the potential of an unconstrained Irish fishing industry. Investment in proper national armed forces, giving this country an actual navy and an air force and an army worthy of the name.
A National Party government would resist completely any attempt by the EU or any other external power to plunder what rightfully belongs to the Irish people. We must never allow our interests to be parcelled off because some slippery, devious, self-serving career politician in Dublin fancies a handy gig in Brussels to round off what has already been a lucrative career. The National Party always puts the interests of Irish people, including the fishermen, first, ar yes ar aye.